This is episode 5 of Comparing Dante's Inferno. Last time we started in Greed, where game Dante faces his father and moves on to Anger. They cross the river Styx, which is the swamp that contains the Wrathful and the Sloth. They come to a signal tower to summon the boatman Phlegethon. They destroy most of Dis and proceed to Inner Hell. That's when they come to Heresy. As for Poem Dante, there's mostly just talking during these cantos, so there's little to compare to this action game.
My son, within this remaining cavern, there are 3 more circles, one below another, each full of accursed spirits.
After sliding down a landslide that was caused by Christ's descent, they find a Minotaur so filled with rage that he is easily driven mad by a comment from Virgil. While he's writhing in anger, the 2 poets slip by. This Minotaur is seen in the game as a statue that cuts the chain blocking your path.
In violence, wounds and death are inflicted against one's neighbors. This ring torments those who murder and plunder, and every soul who wrongfully smites another.
You'll notice that this level in the game is a boiling river of blood with Minotaur statues as platforms to cross. This is because in the poem, as they approach Phlegethon, the river of boiling blood, they meet 3 Minotaurs. Their job is to shoot arrows at the sinners in the river to keep them properly submerged, which is why you'll notice these statues have bows on them. One of the Minotaurs guides them to the shallowest part of the river, and Dante crosses on his back.
What is this place?
Go back. As your friend, Dante, I'm telling you, you're not ready for this.
Friend. So far, I've been ready for everything you have to offer.
One may lay violent hands upon oneself, and therefore in this place, those who deprived themselves of their lives repent in vain.
So now we arrive at the Wood of Suicides. The circle of violence is broken into 3 parts. The Phlegethon is for those that have done violence onto their neighbor, the Wood is for violence onto oneself, and the third will be for blasphemers, ones who have done violence onto God. In the Wood of Suicides, Dante learns that the trees and other plants are actually the damned. When the trees are broken, they weep and bleed. You can see in this level's design that fusion of forest and flesh. The punishment here is the pain of growing as a plant and having harpies pick your leaves. You become a tree because you were refused the body you cast off in life. Dante meets a Florentine that hung himself in his own home, which is the theme of the next character game Dante meets.
Why do you break me? Have you no pity?
Mother. No.
When the soul quits a body from which it has uprooted itself, Minos judges it to the 7th circle. There, it sprouts, shoots up like a sapling. No body, only the pain. For it is unjust that any soul possess that of which it has robbed itself.
But you don't belong here, Mother. You died of the fever.
Her heart just gave out from the fever. She was too fragile.
I despised your father's cruelty, but I was too weak to defy him. And so I took my own life. And you learned his ways.
Forgive me.
The fault is mine. I had not the courage to protect you. Can you forgive me?
I should have. Mother, why did I lose everything?
Some men change, son. Others become the man they once were. The man they wish to be.
Beatrice was all I had. Why did I betray her?
It is too late for us, son. There is still time for her. Absolve me. My soul belongs to you. You must save Beatrice. She is innocent.
Violence may be done against the deity by denying him in the heart.
After the forest, they come to a wasteland of burning sand and rain of fire. There's a path of rock that the poets used to cross. You'll notice that again, this level is designed with all these things in mind. In the burning sands are 3 different types of shades: blasphemers, usurers, and sodomites. In this canto, Virgil teaches Dante that all the rivers come from a single source, which is the tears of the old man of Crete. They eventually come to a waterfall.
From where do the rivers flow?
On the island of Crete, there is a mountain called Ada, once glad with waters but now barren. Within stands a great figure of an old man, his head fashioned of gold, his arms and breasts of pure silver. At the fork of brass, down from there of iron, except the right foot which is baked of clay. His flowing tears force a passage in the cavern. Their course is from rock to rock into this valley, where they form Acheron, Styx, and here the Phlegethon.
My brother!
You did this to me!
Wait, listen!
You don't deserve to be my sister's slave, let alone her lord. Now pay for what you have done!
Francesco, no!
Our deeds were done in the name of God. Why has he forsaken us?
In the name of God? Murder is only in the name of the murderer.
Redeem yourself, brother. Use my soul wisely. Beatrice. Sister.
In the poem, Geryon is a creature with the face of an honest man, with a body like a serpent, having a scorpion tail. Virgil makes arrangements with him to descend further into hell on his back, while Dante speaks to more sinners. During the descent, Dante can see the 8th circle of hell.
There is a place in hell called the Malabulge. Savages! Come and face me! Beatrice? Is that you? My love, I have come back for you as I promised.
I do not wish to see you suffer, but you leave me little choice.
I am not what you think I am.
There cannot be a rival. Lucifer forbids it.
You don't have to obey him. Come back to me.
Behold the 10 circles of fraud and deceit. Those who have broken the very bond of love and trust. In this place shall they be forever punished. Malakoda, show our guest his eternal resting place.
Malakoda is a demon that doesn't actually appear until later in the Bulges. In the game, he's an enemy you fight immediately before you enter Fraud. I consider this the most boring part of the game as it's just samey rooms and lame challenges, but I'll still explain them as we go. During this part, it's Beatrice that will guide Dante through the Malabulge, describing them as he goes. Beatrice does not guide Dante in the poem until the 3rd volume, Paradise.
Allow the sight of these ill-born souls to strike you. Below, the Panderers and Seducers.
In Panderers and Seducers, the damned are whipped by horned demons as they walk in 2 single-file lines moving at different speeds. For a little while, these things will be represented with statues until we exit the Malabulge.
These souls below, stewed in human filth, suffer for the crime of flattery.
Flatterers lie in a ditch of shit and vomit. Dante gawks at someone he recognizes and Virgil points out a disgusting horror. They don't spend much time here because of how grossed out they are.
Below are the Simonist popes, those false men of the cloth whom you followed so blindly.
The Simonists are evil churchmen that are punished by being forced into holes in the ground and having flames burn their flailing legs and feet. The next corrupt pope in his line will fall into the same hole, pushing the old pope further down.
If only the false prophets here could have seen your future.
Soothsayers, or in the game Sorcerers, are people who practice various forms of magic and fortune-telling. Their attempts to see what's ahead is denied in hell because their heads are twisted around a face behind them.
The boiling pitch of the politicians, among the worst of the liars.
In this Bulge is when the poets encounter Malakoda and his squad of demons. Dante hides and Virgil tells him that they need to allow someone to pass, as it is a mission from God. The demon's job is to throw people into the boiling pitch and keep them under the tar with pitchforks. The next bridge is broken, so the demons must bring him to the next closest one. When the leader departs, the squad and him exchange a salute of farts.
You're right at home with the hypocrites, Dante, in this 6th ditch.
The demons run into some trouble, so the 2 poets quickly leave them behind and move on to the Bulge of Hypocrites. The sinners march along wearing a gold cloak lined with lead that weighs them down heavily. Virgil learns that the bridge here is broken and all the other bridges are fine. Malakoda was lying, which isn't surprising if you consider that they met him in the circle of liars.
You stole everything from me! Eternally bound in snakes, the thieves suffer below.
After a bit of a climb, they reach the thieves who constantly flee from and are wrapped in serpents. A serpent bites one on the neck and the sinner falls apart as ash. He then reforms in a human shape to do it all over again.
Stay here and find company with the false advisors.
The Ditch of Deceivers, or Evil Counselors, has a massive amount of flames in it, all of which are different sinners suffering. A number of things occur here in the poem, but not in the game.
The worst of the frauds, those who seed evil and discord amongst those they should trust.
The Sowers of Scandal and Schism are torn apart with their entrails hanging out. One particular shade is seen carrying his head like a lantern. He is one of the shades in the statues here.
The final ditch. Below are the fakes, society's plague, who suffer for eternity in disease.
Finally, in the last ditch, falsifiers suffer numerous plagues and diseases, feverishly scratching themselves, and are arranged into various positions. And that's it for this time. I apologize on behalf of the game for such a boring end to this episode, but I promise it gets better as we reach the end of the game, which I predict we will reach in the next Comparing Dante's Inferno.